Byte Ideas, where we discuss how Likkle ideas are transformed into big dreams. On the toolkit, and you will access a lot of resources. A lot of the information that we presented here today, there are a lot of activity sheets. So we encourage you to download some of that information. Also, there's a digital swag bag with Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Likkle Byte Ideas. I'm Dorit Whitlock, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Samuel Fields Consulting Group. I am delighted to welcome you to another edition, and it is our last edition before the YOLO conference, which will be held this Saturday and Sunday. We're so excited. We have a lot to tell you about, and we have some exciting guests in our virtual studio. So, without further ado, because we have a lot to talk about and we have two guests, so you know we have a lot of discussions that we're going to delve into. So I am going to get my co-host in here, Megan Samuel Fields. You know, of course, I don't do the show alone. Megan, how are you?
Hi, Dorit. I'm good. Good afternoon to all our listeners and viewers. I'm all excited.
Are you getting any sleep?
Oh my gosh. Let's not go there.
Wow.
Well, you know, I can get my sleep, but
I know. Yep.
I get my sleep, but
when you're the lady boss, you can even sleep at your desk.
Oh gosh. Well,
lock your door and hope that no clients come in.
Don't even have the time for that. But it's all exciting. It's all exciting. I picked up the persons from Pocket Exchange have started coming in. One came yesterday. One came in today.
Oh wow!
So and Dialect comes tomorrow. So
fantastic!
It's exciting.
Yes. So we're very excited, and we have two amazing guests in our studio. They're actually going to be presenters at the conference. So we figured we would do almost like a pre-show. So you can get a foretaste of what to expect, like a prelude is the word I was looking for. So without further ado, and of course, our topic today is youthpreneurs. If you don't know what a youthpreneur is a youth entrepreneur. So they're youthpreneurs, they're seniorpreneurs, they're lawyerpreneurs, preneur. So we have two amazing ladies. You know, Antigua and Barbuda has been in the spotlight lately with the accomplishments. The women, at least in Antigua and Barbuda, have been taking the spotlight in recent times. And so we want to spotlight that trend as well. And we have two amazing ladies as we discuss youthpreneurs as future stakeholders in our economy. And it is my pleasure to welcome Miss Renee Edwards Ambrose, to our stage. Hi, Renee.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great. We're so happy to welcome you. We can't wait to hear more about your story because I've read so much and heard so much. When I say she's a lady boss, believe me.
Thank you. And I'm so happy to be here. And good evening to your listening and viewing audience as well.
Fantastic. And we have another dynamic young lady. Her name is Tamora Millet. I am very specific. Hello. When you have a different name, you're very specific, paying attention to people's names.
Good afternoon,
so I hope I got
everyone.
that right. I hope I didn't go too hard on the level. We're just going to call her Tammy.
Tammy. You got it right, but Tammy works well.
Fantastic. Hey, so this is Tamora Millet, and she too is an entrepreneur, youthpreneur, two lovely young ladies. And of course, you know, we have to get prepared to do the transfer of power as they prepare themselves to take over fully the driver's seat in a few years. So we're going to talk about that today. You know, how do we shift the seat of power? How do we pass the baton to the future leaders of tomorrow's economy, and what we have to do today to make sure that happens? But before we get into that, I'm going to allow these lovely young ladies to tell us a bit about themselves. I'm starting with you, Tammy. Tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur, a youthpreneur, and anything else you want to share with us.
Okay. My name is Tamala Millet. Most persons know me as Tammy, and I'm the owner of Party Perfect Antigua, which is a small event planning and decorating business. And also, I am the founder of Boss Ladies Connect, which is a networking group for small female business owners. So other than that, I'm a former member of JCI Antigua, and because community work is something that I love, I'm always out there in terms of community service. That's
Nice.
I'm a mother of
Boss
one.
lady.
Yes, Boss Ladies Connect.
I love it. I love it. One of my favorite songs is Lady Boss. I love it. I love it.
Well, I want to dig into that a bit more. Okay.
Claim it, girl. Claim it.
Nice. Nice.
So, Renee, giving you the same
Yeah.
opportunity to introduce yourself. Tell us about your journey as an entrepreneur.
Okay, awesome. Do you have enough time on the show? I mean,
Take as much time as you need, girl.
so my name is Renee Edwards Ambrose, but most persons call me Butters. I'm affectionately known as Butters, and as a matter of fact, one of my entrepreneurial journeys got me that name, which is a mechanic. So straight out of high school, I told my mother, look, I want to be a race car driver, an engineer, a plus size model, and a pilot.
Oh my
Of
goodness.
course, manifesting all of that before the age of 32, I was able to do all of that and still be able to have a business after that. And I know what I'm passionate about, and I've used my passions to not only create small enterprises, but to also utilize these enterprises to work together to help my community. Apart from that, I have 18 years experience in the aircraft and automotive engineering field, and in engineering and maintenance. And through that, I was able to, meet a lot of persons on the engineering. Most recently, I've pivoted to engineering in the hospitality industry, which I've also manifested. So, but with regards to entrepreneurship, I am the CEO and founder of Lady Mix Workshop, which is a workshop that teach women how to take care of their cars. And also the owner of Lady Hospital Farm, which is the first all-female drag racing team in the Caribbean. So we've participated in Trinidad, Grenada, Nevis, and of course Antigua, and we've done very well. And through that, that's how Lady Mix came about, because women would be like, I don't know anything about cars. And then the light bulb went off and I was like, yes, I got this, sis. Outside of that, I'm on the board of trustees for a female cricket academy, which was established during COVID. So we were able to actually build a field where we will start teaching, young women how to play cricket and use that as a transport for women in the community to play cricket.
Wow. Where
That's
do you
amazing.
find time?
Girl, listen, we'll talk about that in the conversation.
That's amazing. Mika, do you remember our cricket days?
What do you mean if I remember my cricket days? Of
I
course.
swear I wanted to be one of the first female cricketers. Did you know that?
I did
Oh,
not know
really?
Remember,
I did not know.
I could bat like hell, remember?
You could bat. She could bat.
I could bat. Oh,
I just
I
love the
love
running around.
arrangements.
I had no
Sports
interest.
was never my thing.
That's amazing. I was never into, and I could play tennis very well too. I just never, every time I played, my kids are in shock. They're like,
Oh, really?
Mom.
We had boys all around us, so we were always
We had to. We had no choice. We're the only two girls. Yep.
Yep.
But what exciting stories, and Renee, we definitely have to double back with you. And if I forget,
Yes.
I want to hear about the engineering in hospitality.
Yes.
I can't even begin to
Sounds
imagine
good.
what that is, but I'm going to save it.
Sure.
But let's get these are, I told you everyone, these are two dynamic ladies doing a lot of great things. But
Wow.
tell me, young ladies, what role do you think the youth should play in preparing to take over tomorrow's economy? It's a broad question, but you can come at it however you choose. What should youth be doing? It's going to happen. I will tell you, I used to get sick and tired of people. Yeah, the youth today. What is it they used to say? Today's youth will be the leaders of tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I've been hearing that since you're like 5 years old. What the heck does that mean? When you're 5 and you're 6 and you're 7, you're like, I just get tired of it. Like, we don't want to be old. Why are you putting this burden on us? But you know what? You hit your teenage years, you go into your 20s become 30s become 40s, you stop counting, the years go on. But for you ladies, tell me, what that means for you in terms of preparing the youth, and not necessarily just a personal vision, but overall.
For me, I would always encourage the youth to get involved, because at the end of the day, as you say, the youth will be taking over eventually, and they can't just sit down and expect things to be handed to them and just relax. And I find that sometimes the youth of today, they're very relaxed, but we would encourage them to get involved. And that is why I created A Day with the Girls. That's something that I had recently, where we encourage young ladies to get involved, stay motivated, and so on. Because at the end of the day, somebody has to take over. So find something that you love and perfect it. If you need persons that can help you, advisors and so on, just reach out to persons, because at the end of the day, we can't sit down and expect things to just come to us, because we are the next generation that will be taking over, and then the next and the next. So I would always encourage persons to grab life by the horns and step forward and apply yourself. There are NGOs that offer different training, different opportunities, and so on. Just like this one coming up this weekend, be involved in things that are happening, because we are the future.
I like that. You know why I like that too? There are lots of times when you speak to young people, they say, "I'm not sure what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what career I want to get in." And my thing is, just do something.
Just do something. Get moving.
Yeah.
And I can tell you personally, I was not sure. I know Renee said that she was sure that she wanted to do this. But for me, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew that's what I wanted to do. But where, what field, I was not sure at all. And then,
well, let me ask you this, Renee, I'm coming to you.
Go ahead.
A quick question for you, Tammy, because I have this theory and I've read several studies. Who in your family was an entrepreneur, and who did you know growing up that was an entrepreneur? Because it usually doesn't come out of the sky.
What did you say, Tammy? We didn't hear.
But I do have a cousin, Stacy, who actually was in the same field that I am now, just party planning, but I wasn't that close or saw her performing, so I knew she did that, right? But for me personally, there wasn't anybody close to me who was an entrepreneur. I just figured that I just wanted to run my own business. I wanted to be a boss lady, but in what field, where would it take me? I don't know. I tried photography. I tried a t-shirt line. I tried all kinds of different things until I realized, hey, since I was a young girl, I was the one planning the parties. And I realized, wait, that's what I'm really good at. I didn't even realize that is what I'm really good at. And then it went from there. So I didn't have any blueprint or anything. It just happened.
Lovely.
That is very interesting. Wow. Because the average entrepreneur you speak to, they either had a parent or a very close family member that I think when Howard Allen was on, he said it. His parents were entrepreneurs. So in terms of going after, because he was saying something, because I was like, wow, where did this courage come from? Because I would be scared to even, if you come from a family of civil servants, where you get a paycheck at the end of the month. You don't have to be rich, but your parents are getting a paycheck. Family. Everything is centered on month end. You get your little allowance when daddy gets paid month end. That's what we're used to. So to take a leap and become an entrepreneur without being forced
Any
to.
vacative or any
Yeah.
vacative.
Yeah,
Vocative,
that's
yeah.
one of my favorite words. But Renee,
I can
tell
tell
us
you, I
about
didn't have
your
it.
Renee, tell us about your experience. First of all, do you have siblings?
I have one brother, no sisters. He is. I would look at it as him being somewhat of an entrepreneur as well. But with regards to how far he is with his journey, I'm not saying that we should always put timestamps on person's journey, but he still has a long way to go since he just came out of university. So and he's a musician. So utilizing his service, well, having churches utilize his services, I think that, he's still learning and I'm always here to support him. With regards to if I had family members that were entrepreneurs, growing up, my mom and my dad worked for a company, right? Until my dad branched off and did his music separately, because he's a music producer for Calypso and soca to some extent. Rupert Edwards, yes, and he actually is the composer for the police band. So over the last couple of years, you hear police band playing some kind of music, and you have to tap your feet and jig, do a little jig.
They've been going on a kind of way.
Yes. So
No.
he's the one that has been instrumental, no pun intended, with regards to getting that type of stuff going for the police band. However, I have an aunt who, if you ladies would know Natural Yam, back in the day, the vegan restaurant, right? Natural Yam. My aunt, Queen Tibbis, Verna Jean, she was the proprietor of that. No, looking back at that point in time, I never thought, hey, this is something that I want to do, right? Because I would go and help out and, help her out. But I never really looked at it as being an entrepreneur. I just thought, hey, she's a boss, and now growing up, I never really had that type of guidance. I basically learned from the burn, so I used my passions to create what it is that I wanted to see. And of course, being the person that shoot first and ask questions later, I was able to, know what nots and what to do and the whom to go to. And there's still so much for me to learn. But the thing about it is that being able to learn to get further, and that brings me to the question that you asked first. How important is it for, what role does youth play, and what do they have to do going forward? And it begins with us as the now generation, being able to utilize our platforms to encourage the youth coming up behind of us. Because, okay, fine, you have persons that are not sure, but just, putting them in environments where you have options to choose from. And then they'll be like, hey, I think that's cool. Let me try this. And they will have mentors to some extent to ask questions at that point. Now, if you have young people, like I've gone to primary schools and talk about cars, and you have third and fourth farmers who want to be mechanics. And they already know a lot more than some of the people that drive in cars for eons, and being that support system to some extent, or that inspiration, boosts their confidence to even want to learn more. Not necessarily, okay, some may not have the financial means to get to university, but putting themselves in a position to want to do more. I think that it all begins with us and creating that environment for young ones to actually want to do more and become their own bosses as well.
Jareed, we're fine. Our future, Antigua's future is in great hands.
Yep.
These young ladies are solid.
We can start preparing for Shady Pines. The world is in, our future is in good hands.
Antigua is in good hands. Oh, that's
you guys are very impressive. But here's a question I have. What do you see as the major challenges that our youth face today in terms of acknowledging or recognizing the role that's awaiting them? Some people like you young ladies, you get it. You're preparing yourselves, you're fearless, you're accepting the challenges of tomorrow, in faith. But what are some of the barriers or challenges that a lot of our youth face that perhaps inhibits their ability to accept what's coming down the pike?
Can I take this one, Tammy?
Sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, so I think one of the challenges that youth face is the false reality being portrayed on social media, or persons not being able to speak their truth. They only speak about their destination, they don't speak about the journey. So, of course, not being able to understand the pitfalls that they could have avoided, understanding what some of the things they needed to do without putting the cart before the horse, these different things. And looking and scrolling through on TikTok or Reels and seeing that, oh my gosh, I wake up in the morning and I'm a boss lady, or I can take vacations every month. They're not seeing that you had to stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning and then probably get up at 7 o'clock in the morning. They're not seeing that you had to lose a lot of your friends. They're not seeing that you had to probably go on biscuit and cheese for like probably a month. They're not seeing that your bank account in the zeros are probably in the negative. They're not seeing that these financial institutions are calling you, asking you where their money day. You understand? So I think that one of the things that that one of the main things that is a barrier for sure is the false reality that's there on social media. Now, with that being said, I think that one of the things that we as our generation again need to do is paint the proper picture. Whenever I give speeches or whenever I speak one-on-one with persons, even when I speak about my race car, everyone hears about, oh, she's a race car driver. What am I going to get to our next race car? Much noodles and hot dog sausage me may have to eat just so that I was able to get where I need to be. And at this point, because I know where I want to be financially, race car is the least of my worries. You know what I mean? It sounds great on paper. It sounds great as an ego booster. It sounds amazing on paper. And people, it can be a conversational starter. Wonderful. It looks good on social media. However, how does that work for me as an individual? Am I going to suck salt and drink water for someone else to, put a couple more likes on my picture? No. So I think that we need to speak our truth going forward, as cringy as that may seem sometimes. I think it's our responsibility to ensure that we kind of mitigate the false narratives and show that this is what we needed to do. So do it.
So you're basically saying having more conversations.
Correct.
Real conversations. Yeah.
Correct.
I agree.
Fantastic. Tammy, what do you see as some of the challenges among our young people?
From what I'm seeing, it's the courage to start and to stay motivated throughout. Because some persons, they're like, oh, I want to do this, but I don't know if I'm going to do this, but maybe in the next couple of years. You just have to have that courage to start and step forward, but not only to start, but to stay motivated. Because as Renee said, it's very hard. It is very hard, no kidding. I never in my life would have expected it to be this hard, but I'm living it now. It's rewarding, but it's very hard. It's challenging, but you have to stay motivated. Find what works for you, because I can't look at Renee and look at her social media and think, okay, I'm going to do just like her, because I don't know what she's doing in the background. I have to find my niche and what motivates me to keep going, because there are many times, I can tell you, there are many times I just wanted to give up, but I know I have a goal at the end of the day, at the end of the year, and I want to make sure I meet those goals that I have set for myself, for my daughter, for my business. So I have to keep motivated. So it's the courage to start and to stay motivated, and we need to have conversations about these things.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. There are two things that come to mind for me that I wanted to pick your brains a bit on, as it relates to youth, their development, their future, and how they see it. Technology and COVID. I'm curious as to how you see those two factors impacting our youth and their potential for becoming stakeholders in the future economy. Let's start with technology, a more pleasant topic.
Technology, it can be good and bad based on how you use it. We have Facebook, and Facebook is a great advertising source, but sometimes we misuse it. we tend to lean towards the negative side sometimes. And if we use Facebook more positively, it can do so much for us. But not only just Facebook, there's different technology that's happening now, chat GPT. I think that's the new thing right
Oh
now. I'm
yeah.
just trying to get into that right now. There are different things that could work for us, but it's just how we choose to use it, whether we choose it for the negative side of it or the positive. And if we continue to use the positive side of technology, I feel that we can go so far together. But as you know, sometimes they're negative within
Yep.
the world.
Renee,
Sure. My thing is, I'm going to go from the route of having to unlearn things that were the norm prior to the pandemic. So, for instance, right now you're able to work from home, right? And my mother, at first, I don't think she understood when I was let go from Leah during the pandemic. And I started doing my social media business where I actually managed and curated a lot of social media platforms from home. So I would be home. I could wake up whenever I want. Oh, that has gone through the window. But I could have woken up anytime I wanted, and I was able to work from home. But our generation would look at it like, oh, you need to get out of the house. I have to go look for work. And you understand you're lazy and oh gosh, technology, it has surpassed what was a Nokia peanut phone to now, FaceTime it and have conversations with organizational owners in the next time zone, So I think that yes, as Tamola said, it's a negative. You have that you have that yin to that yang, right? But I think that right now, the youth are utilizing technology to not only expand their horizon, but also to make money. Look at a lot of these gamers and streamers right now. Like back in the day when you get on a PlayStation 2 or you get on a Sega Genesis back in the day, your mother say, come out to the house.
Pull your thumb.
But now you're on this and you're making money. Look at Pinky Doll. For those of you who know Pinky Doll, she gets on social media and she just goes,
Yum,
what
yum.
she does is yum yum. And she gets paid in one sitting $20,000. So at the end of the day, it's how you use technology. And again, something that Tammy said, understanding what your niche is, and you can utilize technology to just crush it.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. And as Tammy pointed out, the chat GPT is still a black box in terms of how that's going to shape up. So I am very curious. I probably will be sitting on the side and watching, but I want to definitely see how far it goes. I'm very intrigued by it. And I think it's going to change. We'll look back to this conversation 10 years from now, 5 years from now even, and say, wow, and we'll be laughing at, what our realities were versus how these things have evolved. So definitely something to watch. But let's talk about the not so pleasant topic that I think has had an impact on our youth. I have 2 college age kids. I have 20, almost 21-year-old twins. And, I think COVID literally changed who they were. I saw personality changes, mood swings. They're totally different. It aged them rapidly because of the changes they had to make in their lifestyle and deal with certain realities. But I want to hear from you, ladies, how in your view, how has COVID impacted today's youth, and how will that perhaps show up in their attitudes and their outlook for tomorrow?
Since COVID, I don't know if you've realized that there have been a lot of new businesses. A lot of new businesses came out of COVID.
For sure.
And so I know that we have the negative aspect of COVID, but for me looking back, I realized that COVID had some positive too. There are persons who would have never been an entrepreneur had COVID did not happen because they were comfortable in their jobs. But then when they got let go, they had to try other things. And a lot of persons, I know I have one of my boss ladies, she decorates as well. And she said that she'll never go back to working for someone because after COVID, she was let go and she invested in a business and now she's thriving and she loves it and she loves working for herself. But this would have never happened if it wasn't for COVID because she was so comfortable being just working the normal 9 to 5 and so on. So I know COVID had its negative impact, especially in my business, because I'm a party planner and we can't have parties anymore. But it also encouraged us to be innovative. For me personally, I had to try create new things because persons couldn't have big parties and so on anymore. So I had to create little packages to give to persons to set up themselves. I just had to find new innovative ways, and COVID did that. It did have negative effects on person, but I try to look at what positive it has done for us. And that's pushing persons out of their comfort zone.
Amazing. Renee, how about you? How did you make out?
Oh, so I'm just gonna be the bearer of bad news. So for me, the proverbial rug was basically like someone just pulled that rug from under me, because at that point in my journey, even though I was doing the Lady Mix workshop, it was only like every 2 months. It's not something that I was definitely depending on. It was like the side hustle kind of thing. But my thing was, being an engineer, an aircraft engineer. And I was slowly making my way up to management, because for most persons that get into that type of field, they are looking for progression throughout the company. So for me, I was at that point where I was like, listen, I just got my authorization on the ATR. I'm about to go and get my black and white, that because the year before we went to Toulouse to do training on the ATR. So no, I'm here like, okay, time for me to get authorized on it. And before I was supposed to get authorization, the April, and the whole world shut down March.
Oh, no. That's crazy.
I was supposed to get so everything, and then at that point in time, I was like, I was not mentally prepared, and that kind of goes into the psychological part of it, where when everything came to a complete halt, like literally came to a complete halt, and your bank account just kept on dwindling down, because of course you had to eat, you had to pay APUA, even though APUA gave you some grace, you had all of these other things that you had to take care of, but then nothing was coming in. So for me, I was trying everything under the sun, trying to understand what it is that I was going to do at that point in time. And I like completely burnt out. Like my mood changed. My attitude towards life changed. Everything changed. However, coming out on from the dark side of it all, I was more self-aware of what triggered me. I was more self-aware of what I needed to work on. I was more self-aware of, how do I handle certain pressures? So like probably before time, I would be quick to tell somebody about their parents. But now I think about it and I'm like, listen, Renee, hold your tongue, think about what you're going to say, because words carry weight. So you have to be so careful about how you do it. So, I mean, even though COVID changed my life, like literally changed my life, it changed my status in life. It changed so much. I delved deeper into my entrepreneurial journey at some point, because whereas Lady Mix workshop was a hands-on workshop, I was able to pivot digitally during COVID. So we could have had an academy online using technology. You know what I mean? So as much as Tomala said, listen, you don't want to think about the negative. But again, as I said earlier, if persons don't talk about all the bad things that happen, and just see all the rainbows and candy on social media and that type of stuff, they don't understand why people say that you're strong and why you're here. So before I end this part of the answer, I just want the listeners to understand that your mental health is very important. A lot of persons are still even being affected now with regards to what happened 2 years ago. A lot of people don't catch themselves yet. You know what I mean? And I think that we need to give give ourselves and give other people more grace with a lot of things because they have been going through it, you know. So yes, it was a bad experience afterwards, but I think that we came out good on the other side for sure.
Fantastic.
I'm really glad you spoke about the mental health aspect of it, because I do believe young people in particular, I think the older ones, I guess we have maturity on our side, and perhaps we have gone
An
through,
experience.
right, nothing as bad as COVID, but at least we would have had some experiences. But for the young people, COVID was really a game changer.
Yeah, they couldn't
Yeah, it was
relate to what
different.
this was all about.
And young people, well, people are sociable people, and so you need to have that connection, going to a party, hanging out, and I really do think we have to ensure that our young people, from a mental health standpoint, that they're okay, because it can't be easy. I mean, it was hard
It
for
wasn't.
us, the older ones, having to deal with it. But for the younger ones, I feel it. I've seen it. So it's something we really have to be careful about.
Well,
And
ladies, we're going to take a break to acknowledge our viewers if there are any questions, and also to give some updates about the conference. When we come back, we want to talk to you about finance. How can we prepare the youth, given your own experiences with COVID, with all the challenges that we've outlined here today? How do we prepare our young people from a financial standpoint to be tomorrow's stewards of our economy? So, Megan, let's take a break. Let's acknowledge our guests. If there are any questions, we'll
Right?
take the questions, and then we'll give some updates on the YOLO conference coming up on Saturday, September 23rd, and Sunday, September 24th.
Okay, we have no questions but comments. Fanny King says, good evening. Hi, Fanny. Kara says, we need another show for Butters.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And Dadley King, I'm not sure who is Dadley King, but Dadley King says, technology has advanced ways we can improve ourselves indeed. And that's really true. Yeah, that's all
That
that we
definitely
have.
gives you more options.
So keep the comments and the questions coming. We will have another time when we'll go back to questions. So if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat.
Yep. So we are gearing up for the YOLO conference on Saturday. The opening ceremony will be at 10.
Yes.
One of the keynote speakers will be Dialect. If you haven't heard Dialect speak, you definitely need to show up. Tell your young people around you that they need to be a part of it. Let me tell you a bit about Dialect. He is a music and finance educator. He's a hip hop artist, and he is from St. Croix. A lot of people, when they first hear about him, they wonder, hip hop, what does that have to do with us? We're not hip hop people. However, many of you, the younger people, may know that hip hop has its origins in the Caribbean and Latin America. That's where hip hop was born. It's celebrating 50 years. And it was started by a bunch of DJs who had Caribbean backgrounds. So one of them, actually, I was watching something the other day, he actually took up some of his father's LPs, records, and took them to the club and started spinning it and mixing it with American music. And of course, some of the beats are similar to reggae. So, and then you have the Latin people as well. They have their reggaeton that they mix in. And so that's how hip hop kind of evolved. But the whole culture of hip hop is one where, more so than Caribbean people, if you think of somebody like Biggie Smalls, he always talked about his money, the struggles, having to watch the money, which is something that I don't think we do as much in Caribbean culture, because of course it's a bit taboo. If you talk about your money in the Caribbean, you look at too bossy, it's not something that it's tolerated. But in African American culture, it's something that, a host of rappers have done. So I think our younger generation are into rap music, and we are going to use the whole storytelling learning method of hip hop music, mix it in with soca, calypso, and our kind of music, but it's the storytelling, sharing your financial stories, sharing your financial goals, and infusing music as a way to get young people motivated and interested and excited. You know,
And it's
they
about
always,
the rhythm too. Remember,
that's correct. The
there
theme
is a rhythm.
of, yes, the theme of the conference will be Find Your Financial Rhythm. So, Dialect, he has done a couple of sessions with us in the past, in previous conferences that we've had. He is just amazing. So, you can't afford to miss Dialect when he gives the keynote at 10, and he's also going to be doing another session. But, Mika, let me hand it over to you to go through the schedule so that
Sure.
people can know what the lineup, the agenda is for Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. So we start with our opening ceremony, as Dorit said, and that's at 10. At that ceremony, we're hoping to have Keisha Shahaf, our astronaut, be our keynote speaker. And we're hoping that that can be a reality. She has promised, but we're not sure if she'll actually be able to make it. But we're keeping our fingers crossed. We then will have a slight break. We'll then have all the young people together. We have a financial icebreaker activity. Then we will have Miss Renee Edwards Ambrose being a part of a panel speaking about managing your emotions when making financial decisions. So we're going to have Renee. We're also going to have Andrea Ferrero Haggerty and Anna Fusiatakil. I'm sure I'm mashing up that surname, but they're part of Pocket Exchange, the group from the US. They're actually already in Antigua, and they're going to be speaking about your emotions when you have to make a financial decision, managing your emotions, considering your mental health, and everything having to do with your emotions. Because sometimes certain financial decisions might really require you to take a step back and not be impulsive. Other times it might be okay, but they're going to break it down. So it's going to be very interesting. Then, right after that, we're going to have a session with Dialect, and it's all about your money personality. What's your money personality? So, we're going to have an activity right there. Then, we will have a session on the impact of social media on financial wellness. We were just speaking about technology and social media and how it relates with young people. So, we're going to have a discussion on that. We're going to have Rashane Cunningham, as well as the two ladies from Pocket Exchange. They will be on that panel discussing the impact of social media. Then we're going to wrap that day up with a practice session and a performance review for the Money Jam, which is going to be on Sunday. So the Money Jam, I'll let you know about the Money Jam a little later. So Sunday, we'll come back at 12. And we start with a round table, finding your rhythm with a side hustle and making it your full-time career. And that's where Tamala will be. Tamala will be with Humroy Wright and Tiffany Samuel, all persons who have a side hustle, and or at least had a side hustle. Humroy has now gone fully as an entrepreneur. So we're going to get the tips and the ideas and the pitfalls of having a side hustle and making it your full-time career. We then will have a session with Dialect, and it's about what's your financial rhythm, and we're going to explore the paths to success. How can you be successful in finding your financial rhythm? So Dialect will have that. Then right after that, I will have a session on the 5 money musts. And there are 5 things that we think you must do with your money. So we'll have a conversation about that. And then we're going to have 2 very exciting activities. The first one is our treasure hunt. We have created a treasure hunt where we are going to be putting clues throughout St. John's. It's all about a financial treasure hunt. So the clues will be all related to the 5 money musts, which we would have just spoken about in the previous session. And the young people will be given clues. They'll be in groups and they will go through St. John's and try to find these clues. There will be prizes for the winners. Then we're going to have the highlight of this YOLO Summit, which is our Money Jam. And the Money Jam is going to be in the evening from 4 to 7. From the very beginning, we're asking all young people to come up with a little jingle. It could be a song, could be spoken word, but it's about money, your finances. What does money mean to you? What's your money mantra? Anything, however you can, whatever feelings you get when you think about money, you put that into words. And then we will have a concert called the Money Jam, where we will have persons performing. We have 3 judges who will be the ones making the final decision. And we have prizes for the winners as well. So it's going to be exciting. It's all about finance and financial empowerment and entrepreneurship, but in a fun way. It's not going to be boring at all. And the most important part, it's totally free. So young people between the ages of 15 and 35, you're welcome to come to both days at Julie's. Both of the days, we will be having all our sessions at Julie's, of course, except for our treasure hunt. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So please for the adults, invite your young people to attend. And young people, round up your posse and come to Julie's for 2 days of fun and excitement and learning.
Fantastic. So, ladies, before we wrap up, I mean, the time has gone by so quickly.
Yes.
I want to definitely reel this back in to talk about finance. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to give us some brief thoughts on the topics that you will be presenting over the weekend. So, Renee, let's start with you. And I think the topic that you are talking about is managing your finances when making, I'm not sure I wrote it down correctly.
Yes. Managing
your emotions.
Your emotions when making tough financial decisions.
Correct. I had to learn the hard way because for me, at first when I started working, you just come out of school, you make some money. I'm not talking about as an entrepreneur, but you start work, you make some money, and you say, "Boy, nigga, just."
So did you go directly to Liat?
Pardon?
Did you go directly to Liat from high school? Okay.
No. What happened is I got a scholarship to go and study aircraft maintenance and engineering in Guyana for 4 years through Liat, and then after that I came and I went straight into the field.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Yes, ma'am. So and I mean, coming back with an engineer license, you done gone above and beyond what your age group would probably be making at that point.
And you don't have to tell me about Liat and the culture. Okay, so I can imagine. I know hang a man.
Yeah, girl. That's for next conversation.
I can't imagine you being a hanger woman. In my day, there was only one hanger woman. It was Marjorie.
Wendy. Oh well, that was Wendy was after then.
I don't know Wendy is. So she had
Wendy
to be
was working in the workshop. Wendy was working in the workshop.
What is her last name?
Wendy Ephraim.
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I know her.
Might be after your time.
Yeah,
probably.
You're talking eons ago for me.
Oh,
eons. You guys are probably born.
That's why I don't feel so old being a youthpreneur. You understand? When he said youthpreneur, I was like, at first I clutched my pearls. I was like, oop. But then I was like, yeah.
I was a babypreneur. Don't worry.
Again, in the beginning, I remember I made this statement where I said I had to learn from the burn, right? And there were times when you knew it was wrong, and you knew that, listen, even though the check not clear yet, I'm gonna spend this money. You understand? And I suffered from that for quite a while before I understood, hey, Rennie, you're gonna have to do better. And I think that discipline plays a huge part in this. I never knew about budget. I did not subscribe to that channel. Once the money hit, I am on Amazon. I am out somewhere eating steak, because them times they steak and mashed potato. You think that you're up there so you can eat and drink as you like. So only after a while now it's like having the discipline to make a budget and stick to it. Even if something comes up and you're like, listen, Rennie, me can't go on this brunch, or Rennie, let's do this. In my mind, I'm like, even though I know that the money is there, I have plans for this. This dollar is going somewhere. You understand? Because
it has a home.
If I come to brunch with you and then I don't have the money to get where I want to go, I not gonna, even if I come to you and ask you for that money back. You understand? You go tell me, miss, things hard just as much as things hard with anybody else. And me no love ask people for things. I do not like asking people for things. And I think that too encourages me to save as much as possible, or to invest into things that I know I will get back, or I can utilize to make more money. So when it comes to your emotions, we have to be so emotionally intelligent with regards to seeing things with your eyes and your mouth water, and they say, boy, that it'll look nice for me, that would have feel nice in my stomach, or I would look nice driving that car. But then but at the end of the day, if you set goals and you know that this $20 in the next 5 months is going to get me X, Y, and Z, then you should have the discipline and practice that discipline to be able to let that money sit there until you're ready to do it. Because you never know. In that time of it sitting there, you might get something else, a blessing add on, because once you're patient, the good Lord will bless you with something. You understand, things that happen before your time. So, I mean, discipline is number one, and budget, making a budget and sticking to it. So, I mean, I'll go much more into it on Saturday, because at first I didn't take it seriously, especially budget. I would do great for 2 months and then fall off. But after a while, I got back on the bike and kept pedaling. And right now, I can free off the hill kind of how right now.
And that's what I like.
One hand on no hand. One hand on no hand.
No hand on the back wheel. That's a whole much better down,
And you're going to be keeping it real on Saturday. And I think that's what the young people will enjoy.
Exactly.
So it's going to be exciting. Yes.
So, Tammy, what is your topic?
It is finding your rhythm with a side hustle and making it a full-time career. For me, it's still a side hustle, but I feel like I'm at the stage where I am transitioning, and it hasn't been easy, but I'm getting there. We spoke about COVID, and just before COVID, I was supposed to transition into full-time, but COVID happened and I had to pump the brakes, So, but I am getting back into that now, slowly but surely. But I'm happy that we're talking about finding your rhythm, because I finally think that I am finding my rhythm, but it took a while to get there, doing a lot in life, with community service, having a child, working a full-time job. It was very hard to find my rhythm, and I'm not fully there yet, but I've been gradually finding my rhythm. And I'm really excited to speak about that topic, because it's one that resonates very well with me. So can't wait to see everyone on Sunday to speak.
I'm all excited.
So Tammy's a little offbeat, but she's getting there and finding her rhythm.
Yeah.
Megan, let's see some flyers. Let's talk about the Money Jam, and we'll wrap this up. Also, if there are any additional questions or comments, we'll take them now as well.
Okay, so I'll pull up the let's look at the Money Jam flyer. So this is our Money Jam flyer. It's going to be exciting. We want everyone to enter. It's free, finding your financial rhythm. There's some persons who might just do it on the spot just come up with some lyrics. Others might have to think about it a bit, but we just want you to express your experience with money in whatever way you see fit. So looking to see all the budding Smithsonians and so on coming out and participating. So that was our Money Jam flyer, and this is our treasure hunt flyer, which I think is going to be equally exciting. There are going to be clues, and you have to decipher these clues and find where they're leading you to throughout St. John's. So it's going to be in a small area because we don't want you to go all over St. John's. So the outer limits will be Newgate Street to the north, Tanner Street to the south. Am I doing my, yes?
Market Street.
Independence Avenue.
Yes.
And then
Market Street.
No, we're going to go down to Thames Street.
Okay.
To Thames Street. So that would be the square, and all the clues would be in that area. And you'll be in groups, so we want people to work together in groups. The clues, we're going to send it out via your phones, and you'll have to let us, we'll have the different rules, and it's going to be fun. So come on out and enjoy yourself. Remember, it's free.
So if you find yourself on Bishopgate Street, you have gone too far.
You're cold. You're cold. You need to get back.
And if you're on South Street, you need to turn around. You've
Turn
went too
around.
far.
Turn around. And then this is our flyer for the YOLO Summit. Just giving you the information. We are going to be just speaking all about finance, as I said, financial literacy, financial empowerment. Come out to learn, come out to have fun, come out to even network with other young people. You might find other persons who are doing things similar to you. And come out and hear these two wonderful young ladies
Yes.
from the heart. So I know
Yep.
it's going to be great.
So Megan, are there any additional questions or comments before we sign off? I can't believe it's almost 6 o'clock.
Yes. We have, let me take this off. There is one. Oh, that was just Kara doing LOL. No, so there are no more comments. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
So to everyone listening, we're gearing up for the YOLO conference on Saturday and Sunday, September 23rd and 24th. Look forward to seeing you there. And we want to also thank these amazing ladies
Thank
for
you so
joining us
much.
today and giving us a prelude to their discussions and presentations that you can all look forward to. We have in our company Miss Tamorla Millett, and also Miss Renee Edwards Ambrose. They are going to be presenters at the YOLO conference on Saturday and Sunday, and they will share their amazing stories, tell us about their businesses. They're both boss ladies. They will also tell us about tough financial decisions that they had to make, and they came out on the other side swinging. I just want to give these two ladies a minute or so to give us their parting words, and to also invite their friends, their colleagues, family to come out to the conference this weekend.
All right.
Renee?
Once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you both for not only inviting me to be on this platform to speak, but also to be at the conference this weekend. As a matter of fact, before I even saw the flyer, a couple of my friends sent it in our group chat and was like, sis, you're keeping information from us. And I was like, I didn't get the flyer. Oh my goodness. So there are persons that have seen it and they're like, listen, we're going to come and support, even though they're over the age of 35. That's fine.
Oh, yeah, come on down.
Young at heart. All
Just
Come on down.
Yeah, just the mere fact of being in the vicinity of great minds that want to learn. I think that is very, very, very important. And I'm always grateful that I can use the opportunity to, utilize my story to be an inspiration to persons. And just like Tamola said, you can't really look on someone's social media and think that it's all a bed of roses. I will take that face down and I'll tell you exactly what I had to go through so that you know exactly, what to look out for. So see you guys on Saturday. I'm excited. As a matter of fact, I will be there on Sunday as well to
All
hear
right.
tomorrow's story, and I want to
Awesome.
see how this
Fantastic.
jam goes, because I want to see how these people come up with all these songs, because I like karaoke. So I might even come in and do a little something, something. You know what I mean?
There
Yeah.
you go. There
Let's
you
go,
go.
girl. Lady Max.
I'm glad she mentioned that because I will be attending on Saturday as well because you never stop learning. I will be a little late since I have a gig before, but I will be there. You never
Nice.
stop learning. And I just want to encourage persons to come out to this summit because it is something that we all need assistance with. And I feel like if you listen to other person's story, you will learn so much. And you get to network. There's nothing better than networking. So I just want to encourage everyone to come out on Saturday and Sunday if you can do both. And let's just all just have a good time and learn as much as possible and enjoy the jam after.
All right.
Fantastic.
Sounds good. Sounds
Fantastic.
good. All
Well,
right.
to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. We won't take a break because we'll have to definitely give you snippets and do recaps from the conference. So be sure to join us again next week for another edition. We want to thank you for joining us today. Tell everyone they have to come see Dialect. They have to come see these lovely young ladies and other speakers present on very important topics. So we are going to sign out at 6 o'clock. And it was a great hour spent with you. We appreciate you taking the time out to join us. So take care, everyone.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon.
See you on
Take care.
Saturday. Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye.